Folks, things are really getting out of hand with condos across the GTA. I'll talk about that and then get into the latest home prices and insights for condos across the GTA for week ending January the 10th, 2024. You know, what I'm about to talk to you about, I've seen it getting progressively worse. Not one day to the next, but over time, it's just getting worse. I have several buyer clients looking for condos, and we're looking for condos in, depending on which client, different parts of the GTA. And the experience is the same everywhere we're going. We're visiting a one-bedroom condo. I'm excited to show the unit to my clients. We go in, it's a one-bedroom condo. Where do you expect to see the bed? In the bedroom, naturally, and it's there. But there's another bed in the living room. There's another bed if they happen to have a solarium that's enclosed, there's a bed there. There could be two beds in the living room. It's amazing how there's beds everywhere. Now, this can easily speak to the overcrowding situation that we have. I mean, there's so many reasons why this is happening. I go into a two-bedroom unit, easily I'm seeing 5, 6 beds in a two-bedroom unit. And these homes are put up for sale. It hurts everybody. It hurts the seller. You're trying to sell a unit like that. I mean, the buyer, my clients right away are thinking, how destroyed is this place? And normally when there's that many beds, the unit is not in pristine condition. It might have been before, but it's not anymore. Sometimes the seller doesn't even know all these beds are there. And many times, because I'm calling the agent and finding, say, hey, you know, you got like, 6 or 7 tenants in this 1 or 2 bedroom unit. And the realtor will say, yes, the seller has been struggling. And the realtor will brag to me about how much the seller is getting in rent. And I'm thinking, but my clients are looking to buy this unit to live in it. And right away, that downgrades the sale price when there's that many people in the unit. Sometimes the tenants, some of them, what choice do they have? They cannot afford to rent at the current rental rates. Even though rental rates are calming down now, they're still really high. They can't afford to rent a unit on their own. So they'll share with 4 or 5 or 6 other people. Like everything, I'm not saying there's not a reason for it, but the overall effect, it's not good for the living environment of the tenant. It's not good for the seller. It does not give a good impression to my clients trying to buy one of these units. One building we went into, and this has now happened several times, but the first time I saw it, I thought it was a once off. Now we're seeing it more and more. There's an actual notice in the elevator. And as we're going up to see the unit, you can't help it. You're reading the notice. And it says, solariums are not meant to be bedrooms. Living rooms and dining rooms are not meant to be bedrooms. We need to know how many people are staying in each unit. You need to register how many people are staying in each unit. And management is trying to crack down on this overcrowding. So imagine it's such a problem in this building that management is saying, hey, we're going to count who is living in each unit. And if it's not appropriate for the amount of bedrooms, decisions got to be made. Well, imagine you're a buyer and you read this. How do you feel about buying in that building? And if you're the seller, this hurts you and you may be struggling. And a big reason why this is happening is a huge percentage of condos are investments. So these investors, these people that have it, I'm not necessarily talking about the mega investors that have, 10, 15, 20 units. I'm talking about the mom and pop investor. This may be the only extra property they own. It's an investment, but they can't afford it now. And rents are not covering the expenses. What choices do people have? So they make choices thinking this is good and it's helping them. but overall, in the end, it's hurting them because it devalues the selling price, it devalues the property. This is a sign of the times. We're seeing it more and more. I'm seeing almost on a daily basis now that I go out showing condos. We're bound to run into one or two of these out of 5 or 6 or 7 showings. There's going to be one or two that is just rampacked with beds all over the place. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, there's a link up here to my calendar, and there's a link in the description below this video for my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers for condos across the GTA. Folks, this report is for week ending January the 10th, our first full week of 2024. Our lineup has changed this year versus last year. Yesterday, I talked about Toronto freehold properties just for the city of Toronto. Today, only condo apartments for the GTA, broken down by different sections. Let's get started. So here's a quick summary. These are average sold price for condo apartments for week ending January the 10th. I've got Peel, Toronto, York region. Now, normally when we're talking about average sold prices, Toronto, which is the red line, City of Toronto normally has the highest average sold price, then York region, then Peel region. Not for this week. Toronto is in the middle. York region's a little bit higher. Let's look at the numbers a little bit more closely. I'm going to start off with the City of Toronto condo apartments for week ending January the 10th. 137 were sold. Why do I say it with a bit of enthusiasm? Because it's a huge jump from the previous week of 78 being sold. So, and we expected a jump. We expected more sales. Week ending January the 3rd, the previous week, and the week before that, you're looking at Christmas, Boxing Day, holiday time, New Year's. It's all wrapped up in there. We expect sales to be a lot lower, but now the city's waking up. You can feel it out there, actually. Sellers seem to be more optimistic. Buyers are starting to get excited. We see and we feel the activity picking up. When I book showings, I could see other time slots. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know if it's going to keep going, but right now, headed and just starting off in January, it's a little bit exciting out there. So for week ending January the 10th, 137 condos were sold. 11 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price came way down to $655,000. If we forget the twilight zone time, which is that Christmas, New Year's time, and just let's not even look at that. Prior to holiday season, average prices were trending down, and for the first full week of January, it's continuing that trend so far. Compared to last year, 655 is 7% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago for the same week. The median price of 701, oh, sorry. My clicker's not working here. There we go. The median price of $590,000 is 4% lower than where we were this time last year. If you look at the dotted line, that's a 4-week moving average. The median price, it's almost like a straight line. It's trending down. 137 were sold a year ago for the same week. 74 were sold. So close to double the sales this year versus last year for the same week. Now, last year was a really low week for volume for sales. So far, it's only been 1 week, I know, but it's a lot more sales than what we did this time a year ago. Listings also way up from where we were a year ago. Last year we listed for the same week 425 condos. This year, 557 condos were listed. Months of inventory came down from where we were over the holiday season. We're now starting off at 4.7 months of inventory. Prior to heading into the whole Christmas break, we were sitting in the high 6s to low 7 months of inventory. So we're starting off a little bit stronger than what we finished off at heading into the holiday season. I'm not taking any of these numbers over Christmas and New Year's that serious. But that's all the city of Toronto as a whole. And we know Toronto has lots of different neighborhoods, lots of different regions. For this type of presentation, I can't break down the little tiny neighborhoods, but I can break them down, the city, I can break it down into 9 major sections of the city. And if we just have a quick look, as a reminder, we said months of inventory for all the city for condos is 4.7 months of inventory. Well, let's look at some of the notes I've made here. Scarborough, 2.6 months of inventory. So Scarborough, when it comes to condo apartments, a little bit more active, a little bit more competition than the rest of, or all of Toronto as an average. Downtown Toronto, which usually has one of the highest average sold prices, 5.9 months of inventory. If we start heading up, so we got downtown, 5.9 months of inventory, Midtown, 4.8 months of inventory, Uptown, 4.5 months of inventory. Different buying experiences along the way. High Park, 3.4 months of inventory. I have another note here. 5.9 months of inventory for downtown. You're in a buyer's market when you're looking at 5.9 months of inventory. Active listings for downtown, 1,026. Average days on market is 61 for condos in downtown Toronto. Now, let's understand that for a second. 40 were sold, but 1,026 are available for sale, remain unsold at the end of the week. Can you imagine? 1,026 are the choices, but only 40 get sold. That's why months of inventory is so high. Downtown Toronto does have the lion's share of the sales. It also has the lion's share of condos being unsold. The next closest area for active listings is Etobicoke with 334 active listings. So 17 were sold, but 334 are available. Downtown Toronto has almost 3 times or more the amount of condos available for sale. Here is York Region condos. We went from 16 condos being sold to 33 condos being sold for week ending January the 10th. So those sales doubled. Average sold price up a little bit to $670,000. A year ago at this time, average sold prices were trending up. Let's see if that happens this year. But compared to last year, $670,000 is 1% higher than where we were this time a year ago. The median price of $640,000 is 1% lower than where we were this time a year ago. Compared to last year, well, we sold 33 this year, last year 18. So we've almost doubled from last year's sale. We doubled from last week's sales, almost doubled from last year's sales. And listings, a little bit higher. We went from 81 a year ago to 85 condo listings this year. Months of inventory, 3.3 months of inventory. So we went into the holiday season, 5 months of inventory to low 6, so very much a buyer's market. But we're starting the year off at 3.3 months of inventory. And I could tell you the feeling on the ground in the streets, because we work with buyers and sellers, so buyers have come out. They're active, they're looking. And I could see it when I book showings. I could see it with our clients that we're speaking with. I don't know if this is going to last. I don't know if this is going to be the trend. But sellers that are on the market now, pretty excited with the amount of people going through their door, generally speaking. Here's Peel Region condos. We went from 11 to 28 condos, so way more than double than what we were selling the first week, week ending January the 3rd. So for January 28 condos were sold. None of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price up a little bit to $598,000. 598 is 1% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price of 576 is 2% higher than where we were this time a year ago. We went from 11 sales this time last year to 28 this year. So sales are higher. Listings a bit higher than what we were listing last year. And months of inventory, 4, which is much lower, much lower than where we were before the holiday season. It seems to be the pattern. We saw that with the City of Toronto. Months of inventory for the first full week of the new year here is lower than what it was going into the holiday season. We see it in Toronto, we see it in York Region, we're seeing it in Peel Region. Here's a quick summary. Overall, months of inventory is sitting in a balanced market category. City of Toronto, overall average getting close to the top. Some neighborhoods you're going to see a buyer's market. Other neighborhoods is going to be a little bit more competitive or more balanced. Who you hire matters. Work with somebody that can understand these numbers, that knows the numbers. That realtor can help you make sense of what's going on and help you make good decisions for you and your family. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.